Hi, Europe and beyond. It's Eurovision Ireland, and we're back. Yes, you're not seeing things. The contest happened a week or two ago, but we need to dissect it just to see what we thought. So I'll quickly introduce the gang. We've got Bogdan.
Hi, everyone.
We've got James.
Hey, everyone.
We've got Sarah.
Hi, everyone.
We've got Rich.
Hi, everyone.
Me and Staggy, who, if you were watching our coverage over Liverpool, you'll know he had plenty to squeak for himself. Anyway, what we're going to do, start with, we're each going to pick a country that sort of stood out for whatever reason in the contest. It could be a finalist, it could be a semi-finalist, and we'll just go around and see what we think. So I'm going to start with Bogdan. Firstly, Bogdan, which country have you picked?
I picked Belgium and Gustav because of you. It's been such a journey for Gustav. At the beginning, when he was selected, no one gave him a chance, and there was, he wouldn't qualify. And then to show such a progress, and the public absolutely loved his performance, and I was extremely thrilled that he got to top 10. And to see him receiving 12 points from a few countries was absolutely amazing. And yeah, it was one of the highlights for me to see Gustav finishing in top 10 and sharing all that joy and that lovely positive message with all of Europe and the world.
It's the classic song that sort of built up a head of steam as the contest got closer. It was under the radar, and then all of a sudden, here's Belgium. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Bogdan. Next, James, what's your standout country and why?
So I'm going to go for a little understated number called Cha 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 that was sent by Kerja from Finland. I just mentioned Kerja and Steggy Goes Wild. I mean, come on, everything about that performance had Eurovision gold written all over it. You know, it was memorable. The entire audience went into frenzy the moment he started singing. Kerja is completely bonkers, but we absolutely love him. You know, he's brilliant on camera. And yeah, it was frustrating to see Finland get so close and then sort of just that the final hurdle not make it. And I know the audience, you know, you could do as much as you like with microphones. We could tell the audience were screaming cha cha cha, you know. So I think that says a lot. But yeah, it's fantastic to see Finland climbing the scoreboard. Their national selection the last few years keeps producing some very high quality stuff. So I would like to think that Cha 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 will have lit a bit of a fire under Finland, and they'll be thinking, okay, you know, we've had one win with Lordi, maybe another win isn't actually impossible. You know, we can come higher up the scoreboard than we usually do.
Thanks, James. And of course, a Finnish song in Finnish. That taboo's gone as well. And it's generally good to see a language, a non-English language song doing so well and almost winning again. Anyway, our next quick review, that's from Sarah. Which country have you picked and why?
Well, I picked the UK, mainly because I want to talk a little bit about what probably went wrong for the UK after all the sort of pre-contest hype. As a host country, it was always going to be under pressure. And I really felt for May Muller because after last year with Sam Ryder, she had a big act to follow. And that alone is a lot of pressure, besides being the host country entry as well. And I think the problem was that we had all the pre-contest hype. It was doing pretty well in the polls, expected to do quite well. And there was just something about it on the night. It didn't quite gel, perhaps as much as it should have done. I think May did her very best. Maybe sort of vocally it wasn't quite, up to sort of maybe the standard it should have been, but she did her very best. The staging, I don't know, there's just something about the staging that seemed a little bit messy about it. And I just wonder whether perhaps that plus singing last was its actual downfall, because we've gone from the dizzy heights of last year, coming second and then hosting, and then back to near the bottom end of the scoreboard again. Let's hope that sort of this isn't going to dent May's career too much. I mean, she did the best she could. She was really quite a good advocate for Eurovision. She was getting into the swing of it and really quite enjoying herself there in Liverpool, it seemed. Yeah, and I would like to think that the UK could take something from this and say, well, yeah, okay, we came second last year, we've hosted, and I guess that part of me thinks that the BPC are probably quite relieved that they haven't got to host the whole thing again next year. Yeah. But I would like to think that they would not sort of go back to the sort of positions that we were in in the years before Sam Ryder. I'd like to think that next year they could look at it positively, maybe go down the same avenues again for selecting our entry. And who knows, we'll probably do better next year without being the pressure of the host country.
Yeah. Lots of different factors I think conspired against it.
Mm.
And dear BBC, don't lose heart. You might, this year could just be a blip. Let's hope so. Moving on, Richard has been waiting patiently there. What's your standout country and why?
Surprise, surprise! It's Sweden. Yes, Staggy, I know you like Loreen. We'll get back onto that in a bit. Everybody will know in our previews to the contest, I wasn't a massive fan of Tattoo to begin with after Melodifestivalen. And I sort of changed my mind when we started watching rehearsals in the press centre in Liverpool. I think the massive difference for me was the staging. So at Melodifestivalen, you had this vast ceiling hanging over her as she was sat on this vast bit of raised platform. And you couldn't really understand what she was singing during national final. However, in Liverpool, she only had a tiny bit above her while she was sat on a tiny little bit of platform. And I think the sound managed to come out and you could actually hear what she was singing. I think that made all the difference. Yes, it wasn't my favourite to win. Hands up, it was Finland, my favourite, like most other people. But I think Loreen did herself proud. I think once they'd sorted the staging out, Staggy will agree, she got the fans behind her. Sadly, it wasn't enough for Finland, but hey ho. But also Lorraine, such a lovely person to meet, really bonkers. But even on the turquoise carpet, she spent time talking to every website outlet, every radio station, and of course she fell in love with Staggy. Who doesn't? It's Panda 2019 all over again. But yes, Sweden, really well done, Loreen. First woman ever to win Eurovision twice. That's a record in itself.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Richard. Yeah. Now I'm going to pick Australia. I had my reservations when Australia first started taking part because of the can of worms it could potentially open. But this year could have been their last entry. And in my opinion, it's probably been my favourite. I'll say that. Yeah, it's my favourite Australian entry of the lot, even though it's the most recent. They just really entered into the spirit of the thing. They always had time for people. If you saw our interview that we did with them in the Euro Club during Eurovision Fortnight, check it out because they were genuinely a good bunch of people. And we're going to single out Simone, the guitarist. She was just the character of the contest, I think. Onto the song, the performance, they nailed it. They suited that sort of setting, that sort of stage. Having a car on stage was genius. The guitar, maybe a little bit cheesy, but it made you think of the song. And I thought it would deserve to do far better than it unfortunately did. Although it did win its semi-final. Who knows? Who knows why it didn't do better? But Australia, if you're going to find stuff like that, please come back. Please come back. I take back everything I've said about Australia participating. And this year, I was so glad to see you there. But if you don't come back, it's a bit of a good way to go out. So thank you, Australia. Anyway, we are Eurovision Ireland. And as we know, Ireland weren't quite good enough to make the grand final on the Saturday. They had to languish in their semi-final. we've got to ask the question, what went wrong? So I'm going to go around the team again. I'm going to start with Bogdan.
Well, I'll be honest, I really like the song, but on the night, I didn't feel the passion. And when you're singing a song and then towards the end, you're not singing it and just leave the audience, you're not a concert. You have to sing the song all the way through, not expect the others to carry the song for you. And I just felt like, oh, I'm at a concert, I'm giving up singing, and the others are carrying the song for me. And it just didn't look right on the main stage at the TV as well. So I think a little bit more passion should have been there.
Thanks. What do you reckon, James?
I agree with Bogdan. I think staging-wise, it wasn't very cohesive. You know, you're in a contest setting, so you do need to sort of sing and finish the song all the way through. I mean, I know staging people have said Ireland, you know, oh, when Leslie Roy did Maps, you know, we all said that was, you know, too complex. Now it's sort of too simple. I feel like for Ireland to get back to, you know, doing well at Eurovision, it needs to go back to basics. A strong song, sing with conviction, you know, sell the song, and you know, just stage it simply. It doesn't have to be gimmicky or weird, or you know, some thought has to go into it, but don't overthink it. And I have to say this, you know, as a linguist, everything. Please consider sending something in Irish, because I think that would really make it stand out. You know, everyone's nodding. You know, it would make it unique rather than being, you know, one of 15 songs in English. If you're the one song in Irish, you know, that's going to make it stand out. You know, send something with that strong Celtic touch to it. You know, any country can do well at Eurovision, and I think people have written Ireland off the last couple of years. But you know, as we know, Finland came last in a lot of finals for a good many years, and you know, as we like to say, past success is no guarantee of future success, and vice versa.
Thanks, James. Sarah, your views on Ireland?
Yeah, I think Ireland needs to put a bit more of enthusiasm into their selection process. I think the problem is it's no good keep putting it on the Late Late Show all the time. You've got to have something similar to maybe sort of Melfest in Sweden or even Dance Melody Grand Prix. Yeah, if you're going to do a selection, do it that way. Select some potentially quality entries, give the public something good to vote for. I think Wild Youth did the very, very best they could. Very difficult circumstances. When you haven't got that enthusiasm there, then it's hard to sort of go out on that stage and perform, you know, with the gusto and enthusiasm that you need to do if you're going to succeed and get through that semi-final. I think just a full revamp. That's what I'd like to see of the selection process.
Yeah, fair enough. Richard, over to you.
I have to agree. Yes, I enjoyed the song and it is an earworm. However, I think they lack passion on the night. I really do. And yes, we know there's a history leading up to like the final few weeks of rehearsals, which was a shame, put a dampener on things. But I honestly thought once they got in front of a crowd, the passion would be there. And sadly, it didn't happen. And when we thought they'd be plumb last in the semi-final, and when the full results came out and they finished 12th, that was a pleasant surprise, to be fair. But when it comes to selecting the entry, RTE have been quite vocal that they don't have the finances. So I can't see it going big show route like Dance Melody Grand Prix or Melfest. I would like to see them focus more something like the BBC have done the last couple of years, work alongside a record label, and invest the money that way, because you're investing the money on the artist rather than a pre-national final production type thing. And to me, that's probably spending the little money they have a little bit more wisely. And James says, why not send something in Gaelic? You know, they finished fourth at Eurovision singing in their national language last year. What could they achieve at Eurovision singing in Gaelic? You know?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. I think RTE have fallen into the trap that the BBC have done, where they were treating it as a light entertainment show, and it's not a light entertainment show anymore. It's a pop concert. So you need to gear yourself up as a pop concert. I mean, when they sing Brooke, to cheer in. That was along the lines that they need to think of. Someone who was enthusiastic and had a bit of charisma about them. I don't know about Wild Youth. The song, there's nothing wrong with the song, and like the radio edit is really, really good. But I just got the impression maybe they just got bored of it by that night in May, by that Tuesday night, which I get, because you're going around, you're peddling your song, you're singing it ad nauseum, and you're going to get bored with it. But if you look at, I'm going to single out Joker Out and Voyager, two bands, and they had the enthusiasm, the charisma, they had the stage presence there, and that they made it through to the final. They could have done better in the final, but at least they got there. And that's, I think, what RTE need to aim to do. Just maybe not aim to win, but just to get into the final, just to prove that you can start with, and then build on that. But coming back to the Late Late Show, there's a change of host. Patrick Kilty's taking over from Ryan Tubridy. Maybe that's going to push for a change. But the Late Late Show, are the people that watch that the same people that are going to be voting as televoters? I don't know. RTE, go big. Just, I don't know, get sponsorship, get a big name in. I don't know. There's plenty of good songwriters out there. I don't know, Brian McFadden, Ronan Keating, Bono. Get someone in like that to, if not write the song, then at least remaster it, take the lead. If you want to talk to us, RTE, you know where you can find us, because we would love to help. We want to see Ireland in the final where they belong, and we would love to help you out. So if you are watching, get in touch, please. I think I echo the views of everyone there here. Okay, finally a quick round the table. I'm going to go in a different order this time and really throw everyone. Liverpool contest, your thoughts about it in general. I'm going to start with Richard.
They've set a new standard, let's face it. It was the correct size city. We arrived there, John, on the 29th of April. So some delegation hadn't even arrived there yet. Every bus station had the logo, the livery, the slogan on it. In the city centre, all the banners are up already. They were already living the contest. And, we had the coronation at the same time. I think any city bigger than Liverpool are going to struggle to host it at the same standards.
That's Rich. Sarah, your views. You went up for one evening and saw one of the live shows. Tell us about Liverpool.
Wow, I mean, what an atmosphere. I mean, I've visited Liverpool before, so when we didn't have anything to do with Eurovision then. But my goodness, what a great effort they put in there. Fantastic. The atmosphere, everybody seemed to be enjoying themselves, crowds there, everybody smiling, really, really sort of good, really good ambience and atmosphere there. The atmosphere in the arena was fantastic. I just thought it was amazing. And I honestly don't think that a better host city could have been picked by us. And as has already been said, I think they've set a really, really high standard now, which other countries may struggle to follow.
Sarah, James, you were there for a few days. Your Liverpool experience, tell us about it.
I can only echo what everyone's already said. I think Liverpool really took their duties of hosting Eurovision very seriously. There was branding everywhere, but one thing that really impressed me was a lot of unofficial branding and things. There was that particular street that I wrote about where, everywhere had artwork up in the windows, scoreboards, everyone really got behind it in such an enthusiastic way, but it was still very Ukrainian, which was nice. So, Liverpool could very easily say, this is us, we're doing this. But it was, no, we are hosting it for Ukraine, which was really, really nice that they held on to that. And I think Stockholm must be, well, we're assuming it's Stockholm, must be sort of looking what went on in Liverpool, like, okay, this is the this is the new standard to follow now. I think any city that doesn't go all out for it is going to pale in comparison.
That's James. Now, Bogdan, you were unfortunate that you weren't able to get up to Liverpool, so all you've got to go on is word of mouth and the TV shows. Tell us about your Liverpool experience.
Yeah, I must admit, initially when I heard it's gonna be hosted in Liverpool, I was a bit concerned. But from what I've seen, what I've heard, and everything, it was absolutely brilliant and fantastic. And I think Liverpool has done an amazing job to host Eurovision in behalf of Ukraine. And I couldn't be more proud that we had such a lovely contest this year.
Yeah. Liverpool, you did a cracking job. Thank you, BBC. Thank you, Liverpool, and thank you for keeping Ukraine uppermost in our minds as well, because it would have been very easy just to have marketed it as a BBC Liverpool and a Liverpool contest, but Ukraine was very much in our hearts, as is behind James and Bogdan there, the big hearts there. Did a cracking job, more than I was expecting, but I'm now expecting big things from the host city next year, wherever it may be. So there you have it, folks. Keep following us on various social medias and YouTube and the website, of course. We've got stuff coming on. We're not going to close down for the summer because there's too much going on. We've got Jess, we've got choir, I believe.
Unfortunately, that's been cancelled.
No choir, but our coverage of all things Eurovision and EBU related stuff will continue. We might be looking for more people to join us. So if you're interested in joining our happy little band, drop us a line and we can talk about it. Because we're always looking for new angles and new ways of covering stuff. So for the summer at least, we won't be going away too far, because before we know it, Eurovision season for 2024 will be kicking off 1st of September. We've got Jesk in November. We're not going to go away. So from the team, so it's bye from Richard.
Bye.
From Sarah.
Bye.
From James.
Bye.
From Bogdan.
Bye.
From Staggy and from me. Goodbye.